Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Mary.
Welcome to Our Life V3. As you guys know who follow us, we are on our way overseas for the next 2 years. But unlike our van life, we're living where?
Wherever we find a nice, comfy place.
In a tent, maybe a van, maybe a hotel, maybe a hostel, maybe on the side of the road. We're going to figure that out as we go. But in order to do this, we had to get down to some very small camping material.
Once we get to New Zealand, we do have some tracks or great walks planned. So for those, they do require some campsite visits along the way.
So we've got our tent and material we want to cover with you guys, kind of give you an inkling of what we're traveling with.
Right, because where we're going to Southeast Asia first. And once we get there, we're visiting some Disney parks. We're going on a tour in Thailand. We're kind of doing a sail out of Vietnam.
And a train across southern Vietnam to northern Vietnam.
Right, so...
A bus tour in Thailand.
So we really have to pack and be prepared for a little bit of anything that comes our way, which was really... It was challenging this time. Now we're going from the northern hemisphere where it's starting to become winter, it's fall-like, and weather's all over the place, to the southern hemisphere.
Where it's currently summer, but heading toward winter before we leave.
Exactly.
And it needs to fit in this.
In that, and in this.
So I guess we ought to start with this. We do a lot of research to try to figure out what we're going to do. And we had some Osprey backpacks. They were good, but they've been to India and Europe and all over, and they've taken some beatings. And yeah. What we were really after, knowing that we're hiking more this time, was the supported backpack. And the Gregory Balturo really offered a great, supportive, breathable backpack. And in my case, a 70-liter bag, which, gives a lot of room for food and such as we go.
Yours is a 75.
75.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. And it comes equipped with a lot of features that are great, like a rain fly jacket up top. So if I'm outside and it starts raining, I can quickly put a rain jacket over the entire pack to not get it wet.
Right. There was a lot of research that went into this. So one thing I did like about our Ospreys was it opened up a long way. So it would open up this way and you could get to all of what you needed to. But again, it just wasn't supportive enough for what we needed to do for our major hikes that we're going to be taking, being out 3 to 5 days at a time.
The greatest sell with these at the end of the day really was the suspension and support system. The independent belt really moved with you rather than against you. So if the pack is jiggling up and down, it wasn't beating on you the whole time you were out.
Right, and mine is the female version of that pack, which is the Diva 60. So I have a 60-liter pack, which was an upgrade from my 55-liter, 5-liter difference. From the Osprey, and I think you had a 70-liter pack with your Osprey.
Right. In each bag, there is an independent day bag. Lightning. There's an independent day bag that clips onto the inside, so when you are just out for a quick day, it's not a great bag, it's not overly supportive, but it does have some decent padded straps so you can go out for a quick day hike without carrying the big boy around.
Another nice feature, or one of the reasons why we went with the Gregory Diva and Balturo over the Osprey that I was looking at, is that there are a couple of different ways to access it. So it does have a nice top, so you can access it from the top. Since we loved our Osprey's side opening so much, the nice part about these is you do have another way to get into it from that aspect. So we can really get fully into this pack in multiple ways to get out what we need without unpacking the entire thing.
So traveling backpack style across like we're doing, airplane and all, there's a lot of chance of damage to the backpack itself going in and out of the airplane. This is going to surprise some of you guys, but the guys that load the bags, not always real careful with your stuff, especially when you have permanent belt hips and stuff like this. This can get snagged on lots of equipment going in and out of an airplane, and if you get there and these are torn out, you're buying a new bag.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, not just the guys that are handling it, but just the general equipment itself. The conveyor belts, it really gets caught in that machinery and gets pretty torn up.
So, I know it's adding some weight, but we highly recommend adding a carry bag. This bag goes over the entire backpack and zips it in a hardy nylon. Now you're adding about a pound of weight that you have to carry with this, but it's invaluable as far as making sure your backpack doesn't get torched. Now the next thing getting packed in is our tent. What can you say about this tent, Mary?
All right, this is the Big Agnes Tiger Wall 3. And it's ultra light version. It's about 3 pounds total. And the poles typically go in here. It fits better into our pack if it's separated out, which is why we have it separated out right now. And the nice, I guess I'm just going to say up front that ultra light gear, we are not ultra light geeks by any means. But some of the ultralight gear that's out there really helped us with planning and packing, in that not only are we saving weight, but we're saving size. And so you'll see some of our items are ultralight and some are not.
We did compare and try to make a difference, and there was a monetary difference in getting the ultralight. But when you're looking at carrying a 3-pound tent versus an 8-pound tent over the next 300 miles of hiking we're going to do, that is a huge difference on your back. Mary did also add the tent footprint, so this Tevic tent footprint comes in at about a half a pound. So total gear for the camping, we have about 3.5 pounds in our tent. Next, let's cover some of our bedding options.
Yeah, so we want to be comfortable when we're laying on the ground, so we did pick up a couple of Thermarest air pads or air mattresses.
Yay.
Yeah, you have the
Neo Air by Thermarest. This is the big boy one. It is square. It looks like one of these things we used to have when we were kids and you blow them up and go out on the water. The only difference is this is puncture resistant. It is baffled really well so you don't get a lot of flake when you're rolling around. I understand it takes about 70 breaths to blow these up, but we have a bag so that we can do a speed blow on them each night.
right, and they do have an R value. Ours are the same, except for you just have the regular Thermarest. I have the Thermarest Neo Air Extra Light. I didn't need the rectangular version like you did. You needed some extra length on yours and some extra width just because you're so broad across. Laying on mine, you can kind of see, let's just put that up against you here.
Yeah.
At the widest part, there's
Not
like
even
no
hitting the
way.
shoulders.
This just wouldn't work well for you.
Now there's a lot of people that go without bedding like this. I don't want to sleep without that extra comfort value against the ground. A good night's sleep means more on a hike to me than the 1 pound, 1.2 pounds.
Yeah, I think yours is 1.2. Mine, it comes in under a pound, I believe.
Yeah.
Also, this has an R value of 3.2 or something like that, because it does have a layer on the inside of that silvery stuff. So when you're laying on the ground, it reflects it.
Body heat.
Your body heat comes back up and it traps it really well. So we just covered that we're sleeping on the Thermarest. So what's covering us to keep us warm at night? We went back and forth between, do we get a sleeping bag or do we get a quilt? And we decided on quilts. And again, part of the reason is to save weight, but also the size. Look at the size of this thing. I mean, it's insanely small for something that's going to keep me very, very warm. Mine is a 10-degree quilt.
Mine is a 20-degree quilt because I have natural padding.
Yep, yours is quite a bit bigger than mine, hence the reason for...
But let's give a quick shout out to these guys. We're not pushing their product, but UGC.
Underground Quilt.
These guys make their own quilts in the U.S.
I think it's UGQ, Underground Quilt.
So I must warn you up front, I go with novel colors. And the reason being is I like to know what's mine. So an orange backpack, a green quilt with an orange liner. Well, let's just say when we tuck into this bad boy, we are not going to be cold. So you can see from mine, we'll easily cover Mary and I both in a situation at night. And I will stay warm, very warm, into the evening.
Yes, so he went with the extra large, the Bandit extra large size, because...
I'm sweating. Sweatbox.
No.
Wow.
Reason he did that was tends to roll around at night. If he just was a back sleeper or stomach sleeper and wouldn't need to have gone with something a little bit this large, but sleeping on the side, it really added more girth around and needed that extra material.
Now, comparatively, my quilt is almost twice the size as Mary's, but I'm only about a half a pound heavier than she is. My quilt comes in with the stuff sack at 2 pounds.
Yes. Now, we did custom order these. We asked for the neck fill, and I think that's
The
about
cinch.
it.
It's got a cinch rope to cinch around your neck if you need to keep warm at night.
We went with just the regular
Square toe
zip
box.
toe box that it pulls shut on the end. Instead of the sewn, they did have the option of having, I think there was 2 options of sewn toe boxes. We went with the zipped because when we are not hiking, this makes an excellent blanket
Yeah.
at night, so we can just use it as our regular blanket.
Now, a warning for having these quilts, make sure you keep a patch kit with you. These are natural down. And once you get a hole in one of these and the down starts disappearing, you lose the benefit of the warmth. So make sure you keep some patch tape with you to take care of your tents. You're going to get out by a fire occasionally. You're going to get a snag on a rock or a twig, or you're going to catch a little piece of the fire that comes out.
We're going to be very careful with them and hope that nothing happens like that, but it does. We're just expecting that it will. Now, the difference between a quilt and a sleeping bag is the sleeping bag would go all of the way around. So it would be like this, and the individual would be sleeping on top of the padding or the down itself, which really has no value to it at all. All of the warmth value is having the loft
The air
of
trapped
the
in
down covering you. And when he attaches this, when he gets this attached to the pad itself, he'll be all bundled in like a little money,
Nighty-night.
all tucked in, and be very warm.
I'm warm now. Yay.
Yay. Mine, I went with blue because this was just a really
Mets
pretty...
fan, New York Mets.
I am not a Mets fan.
Broncos, Denver Broncos.
Not that either. Not that either. I just like the blue. This was the Moroccan blue.
Green Bay Packers.
It was just really pretty. Yeah, and yours
Wrong
is
color.
Yours is what the
Tea. I'm
yeah,
green tea.
Green tea. He went with green tea, and we both went with orange. Orange on the inside. If you have anything on it, and you notice that our air pads are yellow.
Right.
So it's easy to keep track of anything.
Secondary feature is always safety, okay? The darker the color on the outside, the more heat it's going to absorb, which will help keep you warmer on the inside. But if you are ever lost, trust me, there's nothing that's going to get spotted better than hunter orange from the air or land. So if you're lost or trapped somewhere, this becomes a warning signal for you as well.
I never thought of that. I just,
I did.
I orange, just
Yeah,
go
well,
with orange.
it's a heart.
It's a heart. Yeah.
Well, you still got to feed yourself when you're on the trail, don't you?
Or we have to feed ourselves.
Food time, right? Yes, this is our stove for the next 2 years.
Well, that's not the stove.
Okay, this is our cookware. So we went with the titanium 750 barefoot cook pot. So you can use that to boil water and start cooking. We do have some collapsible rubber bowls, but I'm not going to bore you with that, really. I mean,
And wait. I will bore you with our sporks. Sporks! We went with the long handle one just in case we go with the bags. We're not planning on going with the bags, but you know, we might. Who knows? And you know, just dipping into some of those longer bags. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's the dehydrated. Then you just add water to them and you make a little meal.
for our stove itself, oh, this just mounts right onto your cooking canister, folds out, and Mary did a lot of research to get to this one. It is a really quick cooking, fast burning stove. So
Yeah,
you just stand it on
It's the Soto Windmaster.
and you cook away.
Yep. This is the Soto Windmaster, and watched a lot of people just boil water to see how long it took them to boil it, and for us it was the faster the better. The design of this, how it's put together, even in the strongest of winds,
We sat there,
it was very fast.
we lit it and tried blowing it out with a fan, with a brush, with air, by mouth. Nothing was getting that out. It was cooking and holding really well. And it's the curvature sign that does not let the base flame go out. So, good job, Soto. Good job, Mary. High five.
When we went to India, we took a life bottle with us so we could filter all of our waters in the hotel, because bottled water wasn't always available to us. So all water that we drank went through the Lifesaver bottle.
But the Lifesaver bottle also weighed about 4.5 pounds, and the filtration system needed to be replaced every couple months. So it really was a very expensive one-trip option. So what are you doing this time, Mary?
This time, we went with a Sawyer water system, and we did both. Now, neither one of us have any experience with the Sawyer, so we watched quite a few individuals and experienced hikers with it. Some of them went with the Sawyer Squeeze, some had the Sawyer Mini and the gravity system. So we decided that we would try both this gravity system, which is the larger bottle, and this particular filter. So you just scoop your water and it goes through the filter down into your clean water bag. So dirty water bag to a clean. And then in addition, we went with the Sawyer Squeeze, which attaches to a smart water bottle or life water, and you just scoop that right out. You take your bottle, you scoop it right out of the river, and then filter straight through this. So you drink straight out of the bottle through the filter. So we're going to try both of them and see how they work. Now, a lot of the locations or a lot of the streams in New Zealand, people just drink directly out of them, and that's cool. But we're going to Southeast Asia first. Yeah. And so, you know, we're going through Thailand and Vietnam, and there might be some times that we'll want to filter there. And then in addition, just having that extra filtration. What we don't want to do is end up getting sick and losing time while we're out on a trail or while we're just wanting to enjoy nature.
You never know when you're going to be trapped out at night either. Why not have yourself a headlamp ready to go? So, Mary, what'd you go with these?
I went with the Nicor 25, which is very lightweight. It's nice that it has a red light on it.
For nighttime.
For nighttime, so when you're in a tent or around camp, you're not blasting the individual in their face with a very, very bright light. It has 3 levels, as you can see, of light, which gets extremely bright. Also, they are rechargeable, so it's one of the, it doesn't take batteries, so that keeps the weight down on them. Actually, with this, I think the strap weighs just as much as the unit does itself. We do like these straps. There were some lighter weight straps that we could have gone with. There's some safety things like SOS, and there's a lock on it. If you press both of these down and hold it, it will lock so it doesn't accidentally get turned on while you're hiking, and then you get to camp at night and you have no light.
Nothing like a good pair of shoes and socks to keep your hike going. And I mean nothing like. You've got to have great footwear or you're going to have a really miserable time. Now, a lot of people talk about lighter weight shoes, heavier shoes. It is important just to have good shoes, even if they weigh a little more. In my case, for hiking boots, I went with the Loa Renegades. These are a little heavier and in my style, Herman Munster style. But talk about great gripping feeling boots. They're warm, they're comfortable. You can wear 1 or 2 pair of socks with them and still feel comfortable, or lace them tighter if you want to have a lighter weight hike. They grip well on the rocks. They're waterproof up to a couple inches to keep your feet dry. And they are just great, fantastic boots.
Actually, with those, the most important thing for Steve is the ankle support. He has very weak ankles. I have the same boots, the Renegade. I believe that I bought mine, purchased them before Steve did his, and loved them so much that he purchased his. Now, I haven't had any issues with any blistering or anything like that with them. Had them out in all sorts of weather and locations. They are cleaned for New Zealand. We just made sure that they were total. So these are going to be our regular tramping boots when we're out doing some major hikes, when we know we're going to be carrying our backpacks. We want a little bit of extra support, and this is what we will be using.
But you're not always going to be hiking and wearing the 2-3 pound boots. Sometimes you just need to run free. For those, I'm going with the Temp 1.5 hiking running shoes. These trail runners. These trail runners have an amazing foot grip to them. We took these out on Old Man Cave trails and they gripped fantastic. The what I call a duckbill in the back, make sure you don't get mud flipping up from the back onto your foot. It will hold some gaiters if you want to keep your mud out of your shoes, and they breathe really comfortable. They're also called clown shoes because of the wider foot box, which makes me look a little more like Ronald McDonald walking out there. But it is amazing how much your toes splay when you're going up and down hills, and this really allows for more comfort in climbing. The only thing that I've found really difficult or different with these is the arch support is non-existent. They want your foot flatter on this hiking. This is great for declines and inclines, but for straight out walks, it's a little harder on the legs. I did find that I worked some new muscles with these on my last hike that I hadn't used before.
Yeah, you have a 0 rise, meaning that from the heel to the toe is the exact same height across, whereas running shoes, you have a little bit more of that. They'll raise the heel up a little bit. Not a Barbie foot, but... So this is more of the flatter foot, 0 rise.
What'd you get?
So we'll be using those for our day hikes when we just have a lighter pack on and, we really don't need as much support. I went with the Solomon, and the reason I really wanted to get some Altas, but my feet are very narrow and they just didn't work. It was just way too wide. My feet were swimming. I know that I would have all sorts of issues with them. I went with the Solomon Speed Cross 4. They do have the 5s out now, and I tried both of them at the same time, and actually the 4 felt a little bit better on my foot. You can see that they are a little bit more narrow. It's nice that they do have a single easy way to tie the shoe, and it tucks up into the tongue itself, and it's very supportive. A lot of grips on the bottom. I had heard some people really love these. A lot of runners really use this.
And also don't forget trekking poles when you go out. Our recommendation, at least for our journeys that we found, are the black diamond poles. They fold down very nicely into 3 segments. They snap together really quickly. They're very durable, have a nice flex to them when you're going down the hill so you don't feel like you're tripping on them.
Yeah, they help your knees, and they help get a rhythm going, help with balance. There's all sorts of benefits to trekking poles.
So you can see the easy design is a quick snap, followed by another quick snap, and once you snap those, the pole pops up at the top. You have a very durable, rigid pole, holds together very well. Easy to pull back down into. Releasing 1, it snaps back into 3, and you're off and down.
Wow.
That was a lot of packing.
So much stuff.
We're trying to be smart about it. We're going to spend the first 3.5 weeks through Shanghai, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, Narita, out on a boat, in a train, and all over Thailand. Narita? Hanoi. Wow, I'm lost.
No, Japan.
Jesse and Jackie are going to Narita. Follow their adventures over on Jess and Jackie. We tried to put all of our goop, that's clothing-wise, that we'll use in the next 3 weeks in one backpack, and put all of our camping gear in another backpack so it doesn't have to get unpacked every day.
Yes, I think that worked out pretty well.
And then, of course, we have our carry-ons, which are computers, cameras, moolah, reading material,
passports. Most important, passports. Let's see. I think just general stuff like that. Laptops, anything electronic, any batteries that we have, we'll definitely carry those on with us. Well, thanks for watching.
Hope you got something out of it.
It wasn't all inclusive, but hey, it's what it is.
We're looking forward to the adventures coming up where we get to show you all the really cool things we're seeing.
Yeah, we're ready to see some cool things.
Yeah, we are. Until next time.
Find your dream and own it.
Safe travels, everyone.
Don't forget to click like and subscribe so you know what we're up to the next time.
Hey, thanks, Giselle.
Look who come to visit. Look who come to visit. Look, Giselle, say hi, everybody. I look so cute in my little pink outfit.